Well, Keith Herrington here. We're camping out on a site here on Duncan Bridge Marina and out overlooking Smithe Lake. And we've been here for a few weeks now, and we're having a great time. Been able to spend time with Butch and his wife, and we've been able to do some things here in town and just spend some time together, which we haven't done in a long time. Sharon and I have had a good time here. We've seen the area pretty well, and I was able to go out in a boat and see the shoreline of this lake and appreciate its beauty. This is one of the cleanest lakes in the U.S. I think it's one of three. So it's a very clean lake, all spring fed. This dock is right directly out behind our campsite. So I come down here one morning to look it over to see if I do about doing some fishing off this dock. I haven't been able to do that, but we did fish off a dock over by the wet storage area, and Sharon caught a few fish, and we've had a good time here. Butch and I still had some time to do some things before we headed back home, and both of us were kind of bored, me in particular, because I was looking for something to do. And we had talked about a pontoon boat that's been up in dry storage for over a year that had a blown head gasket, or so we were told. So we decided to get it down and take a look at it and see exactly how much damage we had to take care of, and give us something to do, because we were both somewhat bored. Butch just had surgery, and of course he's still kind of incapacitated in some ways. He had rotator cuff surgery. I know about that well because I've had the same thing done, plus 2 shoulder replacements, but my conditions are not as bad as Butch's. So we decided, between the two of us, let's take a look at this pontoon boat and see if we can get it running and in the water. So we had one of the drivers take it down, and we needed to look it over and go, well, we're on the underside, and make sure there was no other issues that we were not told about. Butch, being used to the marina and the processes that they normally do, which is taking boats out of racks and holding them in the air and walking underneath them, he felt comfortable doing that. I did not, so I just stood back and watched, and finally creeped over and took a look myself from a distance, and everything looked okay. That cover, the metal cover on the bottom, was put in there. There was some damage done to it, and they fabricated a new one, and everything looked okay. So we had the driver go ahead and move it forward and put it on the ground so we can take a better look at the motor and see what we can do to fix that. Once we were able to get into the engine compartment and look at things, we pulled the plugs out, and first thing that Butch recognized was that the plugs were the wrong ones. So we went and got the right plugs and put in there. Butch also noticed that the starter was loose because he could hear it click when we turned the starter. I tightened that all up, and we went over everything and had to replace a spring on a carburetor, and pretty much that was all we had to do to it. We put it in the water and ran it well quite a ways up the lake toward an island that Butch wanted to show me, and it performed really well. We had some issues at 3,500 RPM, a little sputting going on with a little miss, and we assumed that was probably fuel, bad fuel, because we had about a half tank of fuel already in the boat, and the fuel had been in there for over a year, so it probably needed some stabilizer put in it before they put up in dry storage. So that was probably one of the biggest issues, is the fuel needed to be burned out and replaced. And other than that, it ran really well. We didn't have any issues with it whatsoever. We took it up to the island, and we pulled it up on the beach area and got out and looked the island over. And we did not have any kind of issues with the pontoon at all. So we felt very confident that this would be something that we could use anytime we come to the marina, and it would be available for the employees and for anybody that wanted to use it, particularly with staff and family, because renting them out is what causes a lot of damage to the boats. Rentals are not a good thing to do because people always abuse them and run them to the max. Here we are docked at the island, and we got out and walked around the island, and it's a small island, but very, very nice. Just out in the middle, right out in the middle of the lake, and you can see houses all around and stuff of the island, and it was just kind of cool. The island was all sandy, and you can see the water levels down. Normally the water level's up about 9 feet from where it's at, so the water level is low, but Butch wanted to show me the island, and it was kind of cool. But we had a great time out in the water for an hour or two, and being able to test the pontoon, it was overall a great time. It was great visiting my cousin and his wife, and we hope to continue to do that as often as possible. Wonderful time on Smithe Lake.